everyone! I am back with another book haul. It's snowing outside, so it's not the best lighting for it, but I decided I wanted to do it anyway because I've got a lot of books piling up that I haven't shared with you guys. So I've got a bunch of books that I received as Christmas gifts, and then also a whole other set of books that I bought myself on Book Outlet. I'll start with the ones that I got as Christmas gifts from my parents. The Unseen World by Liz Moore. I don't remember a whole lot about this one, but it is about this woman who starts digging into her father's past and discovers some things about him that she never knew. And he was a scientist doing some sort of artificial intelligence research, I think. Anyway, I'm intrigued to check this one out. A Man Called Ove by Fredrik Backman. This one has gotten a lot of buzz in recent years, along with Beartown. I hear that's another one that a lot of people rave about. And I've read this one already, and I liked it. I didn't, love it. I wasn't blown away by it, but I really liked how the personality of Ove was portrayed and came across on the page. It was really distinct. Like, you could really see what kind of man he was. An Extraordinary Union by Alyssa Cole. I've read this one already. I really liked it. It's set during the Civil War and basically follows Elle Burns, who is a former slave who is now working to spy for the Union Army. And she meets Malcolm McCall, who is a detective for Pinkerton's Secret Service. And so they end up basically kind of sleuthing together and sharing, tidbits of information and falling for each other. And I really liked how much this went into the perspective of Elle as a Black woman during this time. And it didn't kind of gloss over that or the differences between the two characters, as Malcolm is a white man. And I thought that that was really well done. Also, I think this is an Own Voices book, so this makes it kind of even more powerful. Close Enough to Touch by Colleen Oakley. This one is about Jubilee Jenkins, who is allergic to human touch. So basically, if she has skin-to-skin contact, it could kill her. And she has retreated from the world for almost 10 years, and then she decides to brave it again. And she meets this fellow, Eric Keegan, who has his own problems, and I think they kind of connect. And I like the premise, the sound of the premise of it, and I'm interested to see sort of how it's executed here. Speak Easy, Speak Love by Mikkel George. This one is a Much Ado About Nothing retelling set in the 1920s Prohibition era, hence the Speak Easy part of the title. And I love Much Ado About Nothing. It is probably my favorite Shakespeare play and certainly my favorite Shakespeare comedy. And I find that when retellings are able to capture the spirit of the dynamic between Beatrice and Benedick, which is this sort of push and pull, a dynamic with lots of witty banter, when they manage to do that, then they can be a lot of fun to read. So I'm hopeful about this one. Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I was really looking forward to this one. I've already read it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the reading experience of it, but I wouldn't say I loved it the way I loved Uprooted. This one, it switches points of view. Like, Uprooted was just from one character's perspective, but this one switches between several. So that I didn't like as well about it. And I wasn't as interested in some of the storylines as others. So I mainly wanted to get back to the chapters that were from Miriam's point of view and also Irina's. Like, those were the two storylines I was most interested in. So the others, I just kind of was like, okay, let's get going. Let's get back to the ones that I'm interested in. And I also, the Uprooted focuses more on romance, which is the nature of, the Beauty and the Beast fairy tale, which it's roughly sort of inspired by. This one is like a very, very loose retelling. I would say more inspired by Rumpelstiltskin, which is not my favorite fairy tale to begin with. So it was unlikely, I guess, going into it that I would like it as well as Uprooted, because I love Beauty and the Beast. But the romance has like a very back seat in this, and it's actually kind of unexpected when it sort of just happens at the end, and you're just like, what? Like, did it really need to wrap up in romance? Because we really don't see it through most of the book. Like, it's, if you see it at all, it's extremely subtle. It's more like a sort of friendship or understanding or this kind of thing. So yeah. And then the climactic scene, I wasn't thrilled with how the villain was portrayed. It just seemed kind of too comedic to me, almost at the end, and yeah. But I really do like her writing style, like that. You can't question it. It's really excellent. I think excellent, like basically wordsmithery. And I loved how her writing kind of makes you like immersed in the scene. Like, it feels like you're in these, you can feel how cold it is in this book and how much snow there is and everything. And you can really feel the setting and the atmosphere. And I love that about Naomi Novik's writing. So I will definitely keep, checking out her next books and looking for new stuff for her. And hopefully it will be a little bit more kind of my style of storyline next time. Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I have been wanting this book so long, basically ever since I finished Illuminae, which was a number of years ago now. And I wanted it in hardcover because of the super cool dust jacket situation. I got the first one in hardcover, and so then I wanted, of course, the next one in hardcover so that they match. So I knew I didn't want to settle for a paperback. So I finally got it. My parents bought it for me. So thank you, Mom and Dad, because I'm excited for this one. Oh, I have to set aside some time to read it though, because it's chunky. It's not a short one. Hunted by Megan Spooner. I've already read this one. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I really liked it. I mean, I like a lot of Beauty and the Beast retellings, and this one, it has that, fairy tale, atmospheric kind of feel to it. I really enjoyed it. I liked how fierce the main character was, and I liked how the relationship is a slow burn between her and the Beast. And I think Robin McKinley's retelling of Beauty and the Beast, called Beauty, will probably always be my favorite for nostalgia reasons, if nothing else. But this one is up there. This one is up there. And Cruel Beauty. I really liked Cruel Beauty as well. So, but I keep reading Beauty and the Beast retellings because I love it. And then we have Wildflower Hill by Kimberly Freeman. And this is a historical, one of those, I think, kind of dual narrative stories. I read Ember Island last year, and I really liked it, by the same author. And so I wanted to pick up some more of her books, and I love this cover. It's got the prettiest kind of sunset colors kind of feel to it. Oh, it's gorgeous. Anyway, yeah, it's about this woman who is a prima ballerina in London, and then she goes home to Australia, and she learns that her grandmother has died, and she has inherited a sheep station in rural Australia. So, and then it flips back to like someone in the past, and I guess we see how those storylines kind of connect. Those were all books that I had put on my wish list. And then I got a couple books that were not on my wish list. So one of those is Oxymoronica, Paradoxical Wit and Wisdom from History's Greatest Wordsmiths. One of my favorite oxymorons is good morning, because I am not a morning person, and so I don't like mornings at all, really. And so it looks like it kind of just delves into a whole bunch of different sorts of oxymorons and that kind of thing in here. And the other one was Clara's War by Clara Kramer, and this is a young girl's true story of miraculous survival under the Nazis. So it's about this girl in a small Polish town, and she and her family and a couple other families end up hiding in this hand-dug cellar under the protection of the Becks. And Mr. Beck is apparently a hard-drinking, philandering, self-professed anti-Semite. But he's pretty unpredictable, and so he basically ends up sheltering them in this cellar. And I have read partway through. I think I'm like just over halfway through. And then I took a break a while ago because this is really heavy stuff. Like, obviously, it's a true story. So it's very, very dark, of course. And, it's a lot to read about. I do need to, pick it up and keep going. Because, it's a really important sort of story. And then from a friend, I received Americana, a novel by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I hope I said that right. And this is, I think it's gotten a lot of buzz. And it's about these two young people who are in love, and they're from Nigeria, and they leave for the West. So one of them goes to America, and she does well, I guess, academically, but she's sort of forced to look at what it means to be Black. And then the fellow, Obinze, the young woman is Ifemelu, and then the fellow is Obinze, and he wanted to join her, but in post 9/11 America, I guess he wasn't able to, so he ends up going to London, and he is undocumented there. So it sounds like a really interesting kind of exploration of race and identity for these individuals in their journeys to these and in their journeys and in their experiences in these places. All right, so those were the books I received as gifts, and then I also ordered myself some. So here are the ones from my book outlet order. The Truth About Happily Ever After by Carol Kotzo. This is about a girl who works at a theme park. She is Cinderella there, and she's got a great group of friends and a boyfriend who I guess was long distance and isn't anymore. But then as the summer progresses, it looks like her boyfriend starts acting less charming and kind of pulling away, and her perfect summer falls apart. So it's such a cute cover. It sounded like a cute kind of a YA chicklet sort of feel. I think it's YA. I think I'll pick this up when I'm in the mood for something light. Speaking of something light, Where I Belong by Gwendolyn Heasley. Here's another like YA contemporary, on the fluffier side, I suspect. And this is about Corinne, who is basically a city girl who is forced to go country. Her dad is laid off, and all of a sudden, she's not able to spend all these credit cards anymore, and she is shipped off to the boonies of Texas to live with her grandparents. And so then she kind of has to adjust to being in this different sort of place, and maybe not having what she's used to. Emmy and Oliver by Robin Benway. So it sounds like this book is about two best friends, Emmy and Oliver, and Oliver was kidnapped by his father. And then I guess eventually he comes back home, and he's dealing with, everything that's happened to him, and they're trying to figure out, I think, how they still sort of fit together now that this has happened. A Million Miles Away by Lara Avery. This is about a girl she had a twin sister, Michelle, who died in a car crash, and now she has to explain what happened to Michelle's boyfriend, Peter, who is a soldier who's been recently deployed. And so when she connects with him online, he thinks that she is Kelsey is Michelle, his girlfriend who died. And he says seeing her is the only thing keeping him alive. And so she keeps pretending to be Michelle, and I think it sort of snowballs from there. I really like the sound of this premise. It sounds like one of those kind of gripping things you like, oh no, this is not going to end well when he discovers it, but you can't tear yourself away. So we'll see. And of course, I discussed earlier, I like Beauty and the Beast retellings. Here's another one of Beast and Beauty by Stacey J. This is a very different sort of feel of one, I think, because it is set in I think this sort of futuristic sci-fi world, and it's about this blind princess who's raised to be a human sacrifice, and then there's a mutant beast in the desert. So it's a really wild sort of retelling. I think it's not a traditional retelling at all, but hey, I love Beauty and the Beast. The Chocolate Thief by Laura Florand. I love chocolate. This sounds like a cute kind of chick-lit rom-com sort of romance. So I've seen good things about it, so I'm excited for it. The Third Twin by C.J. Omololu. I've read one other book by C.J. Omololu. I think it was called like Dirty Secrets or something. It was about a girl whose mom is a hoarder, and I thought it was really well written. And so this is a much, I think, different sounding book about these two girls, Lexi and Ava, who are identical twins. And when they were little, they made up a third sister, Alicia, and they like blamed everything on her. And so now they're, I guess, they're seniors in school, so they must be 16 or 17. Anyway, they use Alicia as their cover to go out with guys they'd never ever be with in real life. And then a boy turns up dead. And DNA evidence and surveillance photos point to only one suspect, Alicia, the girl who doesn't exist. So I like the sound of that premise. That sounds exciting. The Morganville Vampires, Volume 2. This is a bind-up including Midnight Alley and Feast of Fools. I have read the first in the series, and I have the bind-up of the first two, so I need to read the second one before I get to this one. But it seems like I really enjoyed the first one as like an entertaining kind of paranormal read. I don't go for paranormal a whole lot, but this is sort of the vibe I like when I do read paranormal, that one that sort of has some humor in it. And yeah, I'll see what I think of the next few in the series and see if I'll keep going with it. Julia Vanishes by Katherine Egan. This is about a girl who I think is a witch or something. She, well, maybe I'm not remembering correctly. She has the unusual ability to be unseen. So she's not invisible, but she's beyond most people's senses. And so I guess she is a thief and a spy. Oh yeah, no, she's considered a witch, because it says it's a dangerous trait in a city that has banned all forms of magic and drowns witches in public cleansings. So she is a thief and a spy, and she's posing as a housemaid in this grand house where all these sort of odd assortment of characters live and work. There's some, I think, sort of suspicious things going on in this house, and then there's also a killer leaving a trail of bodies across the frozen city. So I like the sound of this one. Stay Sweet by Siobhan Vivian. I've read, I think, just one other book by Siobhan Vivian, and that was, I feel like it was called Some Kind of Girl. Nope, not That Kind of Girl. Not That Kind of Girl. And I really enjoyed it. And I thought it had a lot of, interesting things to say and thought-provoking questions surrounding like sexuality and feminism and all that kind of thing. So I feel like this one might be a little less like kind of heavy or as much about the issues, but it sounds like it's really a book about friendship, and it's about scooping ice cream during the summer, so how can you not enjoy that? This cover just looks like so summery. That is everything for this book haul. So let me know what you think of the books that I got. Did you like them? Did you not like them? Are you interested in reading them? And I hope you guys have been reading some awesome books. Bye!